Today we're going to talk about how the sex hormones are regulated in both males and females. So if we start it all at the top, right, this is kind of the theme of things. We start up at the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus is going to release GnRH. Okay, GnRH for males has a 24-hour kind of cycle, right? So the pulses of GnRH, which dictate how much of everything downstream is going to be released, it cycles every 24 hours. And the peaks are different between the different men. For females, it's going to be a 21 to 46 day cycle. Okay, so the period cycle is all governed by how the pulses of GnRH are happening in the body over that span. So you can see that very wide range between different women, and that doesn't mean that if you have a really short period that there's something wrong with you, or if you have a long cycle that there's something wrong with you. It just means that you're different from the other person. Then this GnRH is going to stimulate in the pituitary gland. It's going to stimulate FSH, okay? FSH in males is going to stimulate our nerve cells, and they're going to increase that sperm production. Okay. For females, it's going to stimulate the ovaries to increase that follicle maturation. So the eggs are going to mature, and that follicular basket is going to mature. Downstream, there isn't anything necessarily specific downstream of this. I guess I could say that downstream in the testes, let's just say the secondary organs. In our secondary organs, so FSH in response to FSH, we'll start making things like inhibin to then inhibit these processes, okay? So in the testes, okay? For the ovaries, right? So in the ovaries, it'll produce estrogen in response to this, okay? And then that estrogen, it's going to not necessarily do negative feedback until much later. Okay. Then we also, GnRH is also going to stimulate LH. Okay. LH in males is going to increase testosterone. In females, it's going to cause ovulation. Okay. And when ovulation occurs, women create the corpus luteum, and the corpus luteum is going to increase progesterone, which is what's really going to do that negative feedback up to the GnRH, okay, and the FSH. And then the testosterone for the males will also block, okay. Hopefully this kind of helps with it. So it's always going to be GnRH stimulates FSH and LH, which have different functions between males and females, to lead to their secondary hormones. So for males, we have testosterone, and females, we have estrogen and progesterone. Both males and females, so those are each separate, but both will produce inhibin to inhibit the whole process as well. Anyway, there's a little bit more of the physiology that goes into each of those, but I hope this helps with just organizing how these are going to be regulated together.